Hi guys, welcome back to another video. We're getting to that super busy point in the year where we're coming into spring. Got projects to finish off and animals start coming to the farm, so we've got a lot going on, lots of exciting things happening on the farm. So let's take a look at what we've been getting up to. That is the mobile shelter, 2 coats of paint on it. It's just drying there now. Going to take it up to the farm and clad it up there because that's where the cladding is, and it'll be just much easier to pull it up the road like that. So now I'm working on the next one. I've actually 3 projects in the go. This is going to be a beehive stand. I was using wooden stands before now, and this time I just made some good quality steel ones. So this will be able to hold 4 hives. Just got to weld it up. These will be the legs. These will sit like this, and then these will have to sit on a concrete block, on like a 4-inch block, and that'll be all good. I'll paint it up, put some end caps in on the end to stop water getting in there, and they should last me a good few years. So I've got to make a couple of them. And the other thing I'm working on is a mobile milking trailer. Now this isn't a long-term thing. If you want to sell milk, I don't think regulators will pass a mobile milking parlour. Not straightforward anyway, because the regulations do stipulate that you got to have walls in the room. So this is just for this coming year for myself. I think it's going to be a great system. I'm going to have 2 milking stanchions at the back here, so you'll come in. This will be dropped. This will be a milking stanchion here, and this will be one here. What I'm going to have is I'm going to have like mobile gates. I can make a little pen out the back here. And it's going to look actually very similar to this one. The roof height's going to be about the same. And the 2 milking stanchions will be at the back. And this front section is actually going to be a pen to put the kids in at night, because I'm going to goat share. So once the goats are maybe 4 weeks old or so, I'll start to kid share. So this will have weld mesh and one brick all the way around, and it's going to have a slatted floor. So the kids will go in here at night. The mama goats can sit just on the outside right beside them, so everybody's happy. Then in the morning we just make up our pen before we move on to a new paddock. We'll make up a quick pen at the back, bring in the mama goats. I'll have 2 milkers going, so I can milk on both sides. And then once I probably get all the mama goats in the pen, I'll let the baby goats out. And I'm just trying to figure, will I let the goats, when I'm done in the stanchion, will I let them have a gate here that they can walk straight on in and then out? Or will I let them out the side here? Either way, I'll figure that out. But that's my plan. And then, so the baby goats would stay with the mama all day. And then in the evening time, before bed, we'd bring them all in. The baby goats would get put into this pen in here again, and the mama goats stay outside. And of course, once we're done milking in the morning, we'll move on to the next paddock. I think it's going to be a sweet system for doing dairy. As I said, it probably won't pass regulations or anything like that, but I'm not going to get certified for this year. And from a homestead point of view, I think it's going to be a great job to be able to milk in pasture. It's going to be very clean, very nice. And because one of the biggest problems I have with the goats during the summer, if I want to milk, they got to come back to somewhere to be milked close to the farmyard. That's when I run the biggest risk with my goats, is coming to and from the pastures. Nearly everybody I talk to about goats really don't understand goats, because they'll be like, oh, you'll never keep them in or whatever. Like, they just don't understand the psychic makeup of a goat. I have had 0 issues with goats staying where I want them. Basically look after their psychological and physical needs, and they're pretty happy. My issue is when I'm moving them from the pasture in to be milked and moving them back out, I gotta get them to walk the whole way through the farm in some instances, and that's when they can browse on my berry bushes and my fruit trees. So that's why I want to move to a mobile milker, so that they're never going to be an issue of coming out of a pasture, because the milking station is always within the pasture. And I think goats will be a breeze for me then. It's just something I got to watch, is when I'm coming and going from the pasture, that they're not nibbling at all the nice young shoots. and this hopefully will fix that problem. Okay, I got the shade mobile, as we'll probably call it going forward, up to the farm and pulled up the road fine. Actually, it was pulling it at like 50 miles an hour and it was coming lovely. So just getting the cladding on now. I had the cladding here on the farm, so that's why I took it up. Now I've left a bit of an overhang in the bottom, and that's purely because this is various cladding I had. I didn't actually order some of this for this. It was stuff I had left over from other projects, or I took from other projects. And I had sheets that were 3.2 meters long, and when I cut them in half, I had this little overhang, and I said I'd leave it on because it'll make it suit me better. I've got it hooked on the quad here. I don't think it'll be fouling on much, so I'm going to roll with it. If it's a case that this here starts catching in the ground or something, I can always come back and cut it clean off there with the grinder. But the more cover I have, the better. So I've got all this tied on, and the last thing I'm going to do now is put on the roof, which is these two sheets here are going to go up on top, and then I just got to cover that piece there. And one other job I'm going to do is I've got this bar here. It's going to go, I don't know if I can actually hold it up there. It's going to go across here to hold a hay feeder. So I got to drill that out. I'm going to bolt it on. I decided I'm going to bolt it on so I can change the height of it if I need to. But yeah, we're getting there. Happy days, and it's just going to be in time, perfect time for getting out for the goats, so the goats can actually stay out full time. They come in every evening into the polytunnel, but once I get this in operation, they can stay out. They're due to kid, probably start kidding in the next week, I'd say. So I might keep taking them in until we get all the kids up and running, or if the weather's mild, it's given them mild weather for this week, they can stay out. I'll play it by ear with the weather. So these girls are due any day now. See some of them chilling. Gilbert has been in with them now for over 150 days, so that means, if I zoom you out, that means he got these guys when they came into the first heat cycle. So I'm expecting kids anytime soon. From these two here, this one, these four goats here are due to kid, I'd say, in the next, some of them will go, I'd say, within a week, and some of them might be out to 2 weeks. The shelter's doing a great job. Annie's having a bit of a scratch there on the tire, and happy days. I've just been organising with my dad to get some sheep from the farm. We've been picking out, I just want to get four ewes with lambs. I don't want too many sheep, just basically for a lamb for ourselves. That's the only reason why I'm keeping sheep. So we're going to keep 4 along with the goats, and they're very similar animals in their physical makeup. So if I've got goats here, I may as well have a couple of sheep, so we have lamb every year. We eat about 3 or 4 lambs every year. The shade mobile is doing great. I've actually been thinking about it. I don't think I need to actually cover down here until we go into next winter, because the weather's picking up, and during the summer I'm not too worried, because if a little bit of wind blows in, it's not cold wind, it'll be going into the autumn, so I might actually leave it without the wood. I am still waiting for the jockey wheel and 2 prop stands to put in the front of it, and they should be delivered soon, and I'll stick them on. At the minute it's just sitting on some stones on the inside. Annie's the goat. We're milking Annie at the minute. She's given about 2 litres a day, consistently. She's very consistent, and she's completely off grain now. She was heavy grain when we got her, but I have her weaned off the grain now because we've got her on grass full time. So we were just taking Annie into milk, and we've seen Nellie's just in the process of giving birth. I kind of disrupted her, so she's stepped up again with her water. Her waters are broke, and she should push them out pretty soon. We'll just keep an eye on her. We'll leave her to it herself, and keep an eye. And if she seems to be getting into any difficulties, then we'd give her a hand. But she should be well fit to do it herself. She'd done it on her own last year. think she'll do it again. She's very relaxed there. And I would hope that she would start working again to get them out. I'm just in my grain store here. This bin is full of layer pellets. This bin behind me, in about 2-3 weeks, will get full of broiler feed, turkey feed. And I'm just looking here now, this area here, I'm going to flip this around, it might be better. This area here, I always had in my head of putting in a third bin here for pig feed, and I think I'm going to do that because I don't really need it. I've got my little shelf there, I can put dog food up there. My boards for boarding up here. The oyster grit doesn't really need to stay in here, it can stay anywhere. It's not perishable. So what I'm thinking of doing is boarding this across here and boarding it right up so I can just fill in. I get my pig feed in 1-ton bags, and I generally get it delivered down to my dad's farm because he's got a forklift to lift it off. And I think what I'll do is I'll bring it up here in whatever. I normally maybe get 2 tons at a time because I keep some pigs down in dad's farm as well, so I'll take 1 bag up here. Now I'll have to manually tip it in here, but I think it'll be handy then. So I'll have my broiler feed, layer feed, pig feed. The only other feed I have is starter crumb for broilers, but that's only ever like a couple of bags. I think each batch uses like 2 bags, so that won't be hard to manage. So yeah, I'm going to have to board up this here. I'm going to move this stuff out, board it up. I'm going to calculate out here quickly how much. I know by looking at it, it'll hold a metric ton up to the top here. And I'll just do it with a board system similar to this here, so that I can take off a board and it's easy to scoop it out. So I've brought up some pig feed and I'll just bring this up gradually. I'll be in to my dad's farm a couple of times a week, and I just fill up the back of the van with bags and then tuck them in here. And I keep my sheet here. This is my nutritional information, tells me what it is, nutritional information, and also the best before date, so I know what's what in each bin. And happy days, aren't we, Jess? Now the next job I got to do, I got to start to sort out my beekeeping equipment. Goat's cream, goat skim milk, goat's cream, goat skim milk. Can't wait to make some butter. Okay, look what I got here. We got some baby lambs. I've got 4 ewes and 5 lambs. One of them's got a set of twins, and I got these from my dad. So these are going to be in the farm. I think 3 of these are like what we call a Westie or a Mayo or a Connemara sheep, and that horned one there, I'm not sure what breed she is. People who know horned sheep will know a lot more than me, but I like the horned sheep because they're nice and hardy and they're going to be on a grass diet. And so I wanted a couple of sheep, so we have some lamb at the farm. We don't produce massive amount of lamb, just for ourselves really. But I like sheep, but it's nice to have them with the goats. So I'm going to get these guys out and put them down with the goats down there. Everyone seems to be happy out, enjoying the sun. Some of the guys are using the shade mobile. I was thinking about maybe putting a transparent roof on it, but then that's not going to work in the warm weather, so I think that knocks the transparent roof idea out. The lambs are just chilling. Sheep, this is a completely new setup to these sheep. They wouldn't have really seen these nets before. Dad does have some of these nets, but they're generally on the hull, so take a bit of getting used to them. But I have the fence hot now. I just got to watch that the little lambs don't get stuck in it. What I'm actually going to do tomorrow, I didn't think I'd have the sheep up here today. I'm going to switch out this netting for poultry netting, which has got the smaller mesh, and that means the lambs won't get stuck in it. And I'll just keep them on that for a week or so until they get used to it, and then happy days. You having a little sleep there, buddy? Yeah. Oh, there. How you doing? Sheep and the baby goats are settling in well. I didn't actually tell you about these guys. So they were born not yesterday, day before yesterday, as I was out a wee bit. And the first guy, who is just over there, we're going to go and get him. He was coming, and when we came over in the evening, it kind of looked to me like she had been trying to get them out for a little while, but we left her for another little while. She was really pushing hard, and seemed to be that the kid was a little bit stuck, and one of his feet was right up over by his head. It was making it difficult for her to push him out because his front leg kept locking. So she just needed a little bit of help. We straightened up the feet, and out came this little guy over here. He's hanging out with Annie at the minute. Out came him, and then she dropped this one here. Now he was very weak because she'd been trying to give birth to him for, I'd say, at least an hour and a half or so. So I actually got up twice in the middle of the night, and I milked her and gave him a little bottle, and then he was fine, and off he went. So now they're out in grass, and we got our lambs all settled in. Everybody's happy on grass. We're going to pick up some cows on Monday, and I just set up this pen to take them in. So I've got some real heavy, these are yard gates, D6 gates for handling cattle. My plan is to take them, we'll hold them in here for a little while till they settle down, and then I've set up a paddock here. And now the cattle that's coming are used to single wire head fence, so I've set up a single wire all the way around, and I want to transition them to the sheep netting here. So we'll transition them over slowly, and then we won't need the single wire inside. And so the plan is to drop them off in here, let them settle down, then we'll transition them into this paddock, and we'll do a couple of moves around here, and then we'll introduce them to the sheep and the goats. Getting cows in the farm is kind of one of the last big animal enterprises I wanted to add, and it's really a homestead enterprise. It's not a grass to beef finished operation we're doing. It's purely to produce our own beef, and I just feel like it's the last piece in the puzzle. If you look at our logo, we've got our cow on there. I just came up with this logo about, I don't know, maybe must be almost 4 years ago. And it was with no clear vision or whatever, just the logo seemed to work. It all balanced out. And it's funny how the goat, I never even had intentions of having goat, but he's up there front and center, and it feels like that's where it's going. And I had no ideas at that when I designed the logo, so you can talk about premonitions or whatever, but it's just how everything panned out. And yeah, it's gonna, I don't know if this year is really the year for the farm to, seems to be everything just falling into place. All the final pieces are coming together, and it feels really good. I feel like I've been on a long journey, and it feels good to be finally having that sense of almost things coming together and not having to push so hard, because it can be tiresome. And I'm starting to feel like I'm transitioning. It's the same with any business starting out, that the farm is transitioning now from that young infancy stage where it needs so much attention, so much care, to it's becoming its own thing now, and it doesn't require me fussing over it. It'll actually grow its own feet, and more people can become involved, and I can not so worry so much about it. And I'm really looking forward to that stage of the farm. Sorry guys, you probably can't see my eyes that much, but the sun's really bright, and you can see this is white currant. They're starting to come into flower, and yeah, really happy. This is actually the first time I've ever had a proper flock. We've got 4 ewes, 5 lambs, we've got 10 does, 1 buck, and 2 baby goats, with more on the way. And yeah, it's super exciting. Have these guys, the temperatures have really started to go up here, so grass is really starting to grow now. I know the old people used to always say to watch out for full spring, that the temperature could dip down again, and it might very well, but it's a good spell to get. The ground is drying out, growth is really starting to kick in, and it's just come at the perfect time for me. I think I'm safe now. I'm going to put on, we've still got a bit of winter stockpile to get through, and then by that time our regrowth is going to be pretty good, and we'll go up to farm 2, and we'll be on this farm for I'd hazard a guess another 3.5 weeks, and then we'll be moving up to the other farm to give that a good going over. I'm really looking forward to getting the cows, because we'll have sheep, goats and cows all in our herd, or flared, and so that means we're going to have a lot of grazing capacity of different species, and that's going to be a really useful tool. That's it for me for this video, guys, and as I said, it's just that point in the year where it's really busy, so I haven't been getting so many, and I had other stuff going on as well, so time wasn't on my side. But hopefully as the season starts out, I'm going to have a lot more help on the farm, and we can bring you along in a lot more videos.